Will you please stop sexually harassing Marshall? Raising God. Leave. Oh, we're live. Hey, everybody. Good morning.
You're normally the one who sexually harasses me. Pimp.
Yeah, that's true. Welcome to the morning wood, everybody. I'm glad that you got up on my wood. You're on it. It's hard. It's stiff. It's erectile dysfunction. But anyways, it's dysfunctional. Anyways, today we're going to be talking about the 90s. Tomorrow, let me talk about tomorrow. We'll be talking about the 2000s in the year 2000. And from like 2000, 2010, and then what's tomorrow? Tomorrow's what? Wednesday? Yeah. So Thursday, we're going to be talking about the 70s because we have to redo the 70s show. Anyways, as always, at the end of the show, please send in your questions and your tips if you have questions for anybody. So we're just going to jump right into it. Let me introduce the cast first. Today, we're also joined by the cool, talented Marshall Manson. Hey, buddy.
How you doing, man? Thanks for having me.
Good. Glad to have you. We're also joined by Red Eye. What's up, buddy?
Hello, everybody.
Good. And the lovely, beautiful, not on camera Raisin.
I will be on camera later. Good morning, everybody.
Cunt. Okay. Hello. And I am the wonderful, beautiful, sexy, very feminine Pimpmunk. Let's talk about 90s. The music, man. The music.
Definitely a high point for music.
It was actually a very high point for music, and it had so much different types of music also. One of the things that I really wanted to kind of jump into at the beginning when we were talking about this is one of the biggest things that came out of music and was gangster rap in the 90s. Gangster rap really made an impact in the 90s.
Yes.
Yeah, it was huge in the 90s. From all those big time groups, NWA, which was late 80s, early 90s, and but Snoop and all those. I mean, those fuckers, Tupac, Biggie, all those motherfuckers. Which I don't know if you consider Biggie a gangster rapper, but still. Gangster rap was huge.
Yep, sure was. And people died.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because they were gangsters.
Yeah.
But it was a lot.
I stopped liking rap. I thought I liked rap in the 80s until the 90s.
I did like a lot of the gangster rap, but not like, I don't know, dude. I had my chosen ones. I never was the mainstream guy anyway. I always liked rappers that were not so popular, like Scarface and stuff like that. I was really into those guys, and I like political rap back in those days too, like Common and all those guys. KRS-One, who's to me one of the greatest rappers of all time. He doesn't get the credit he deserves, but well, he does in the rap community, but he does it by fans wise. But yeah, so those were, and of course the birth of Death Row Records was back in the 90s. And we all know the legend of Death Row Records and Suge Knight, he was just, they were like a small mob in a way, dude. They were like really criminals.
He's a crime boss. Make no mistake.
It was sort of like Motown with Uzis.
Yeah, exactly. That's a good way to put it.
Well, it went from like that competitive sort of fun rapping where they're spitting back and forth to something that was a lot heavier and angrier, and some of it was just angry about life. The political stuff, I'm with you. I could dig the lyrics on that, but when it was just angry to be angry, like that's not my style. So I was out of rap at that point.
East Coast hippies versus the West Coast fucking not hippies. I don't know. It was East versus West Coast, wasn't it? That was a big part of it.
East Coast, West Coast, yeah. And that was so manufactured, by the way.
Was that Kate?
It was so, because the thing about it was Tupac was supposed to represent the West Coast, and he was actually from the fucking East Coast, so it didn't make a lot of sense.
That was about as really as a wrestling storyline.
Yeah, Tupac's from like New York or whatever. I mean, or something like that. But anyways, it was very manufactured and bullshit.
So rappers born in say Alaska were representing the East Coast or something like that. Just like randomly slap people in a category and go, right, you can fight for this team.
It sold the fuck out of some albums, man.
Oh yeah, over here that shit was fucking huge.
They drew a line in the sand and people chose which line. And let's face it, for a long time, it was Death Row Records. They were kicking ass. So.
The West one, dude. The West
one. Death Row Records was kicking ass until they didn't kick ass no more. And then fucking P. Diddy took over the goddamn world for a while there, which, hey, speaking of, he had a massive impact in the 90s. Well, Puff Daddy.
Yes, he did.
Massive impact. This dude started an empire. But yeah, those were some, that's one of the biggest things in like hip hop wise. But talking about different types of bands and stuff, there was so much good music from the 90s.
The Seattle scene.
Yeah. I was gonna touch upon that for sure. The Seattle scene went nuts. I mean, everybody, Nirvana, Pearl Jam, all those, which I was more of a Pearl Jam guy than a Nirvana guy. Even though I like Nirvana, I was more of a Pearl Jam guy.
Sorry, Matt, you go.
I was gonna say I've always been that way. I've only like recently starting to appreciate Nirvana. Like the more I go back and listen to their older albums, but yeah, I was always like Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains.
Definitely Alice in Chains. Yeah.
That's my favorite band.
Soundgarden,
Yes, Soundgarden were
Jane's
fucking
Addiction.
awesome. Jesus Christ, but yeah, Jane's Addiction, all of those bands are fucking awesome.
Yeah, dude.
And the metal was quite good too back then. We had like death metal like Deicide and fucking Morbid Angel was starting to really come into their own.
That was the decade that I first saw Gwar.
I never got to saw them live. Fuck it.
No.
But Nirvana was, I mean, they were, I've said this before, I said it a couple weeks ago actually on this show. Nirvana was the Beatles of the grunge. I mean, they were the Beatles of grunge. They were the face of grunge music for a while.
Cobain was bigger than Jesus for a while.
And he couldn't handle it.
Yep.
Poor guy. I mean, he just didn't expect that kind of fame.
Yeah, people always say like, well, he hated fame, but he always ran towards it. He ran towards fame. What he didn't run towards is being the voice of an entire generation.
Yeah.
The level of responsibility that brings.
Yeah, I agree. And he did. He was like, yeah, he became the face. He was bigger than Jesus for a moment. I mean, Red Eye's not lying. The dude was fucking everywhere.
Yeah, they like MTV. They started off a whole thing of MTV Unplugged, and Nirvana were like the showcase of that shit. Mm-hmm. And people fucking, I thought that's not gonna work. I was really fucking wrong. That spawned a whole thing where they'd get everyone from fucking Soundgarden to Metallica to come in, unplugged, and I think Nirvana probably killed it the fucking most, and that's where, of course, the Foo Fighters, the drummer from Nirvana ended up being the fucking front man of the Foo. Dave Grohl's probably more talented than the rest of Nirvana put together.
I agree. I agree. He was awesome. But then you had other groups that are fucking awesome too. Stone Temple Pilots. I love those guys. We make a joke about this song a lot, but Faith No More was pretty.
Oh yeah.
Mike Patton. What was Mr. Bungle? That was his other band. That's some twisted shit.
Yeah, Smashing Pumpkins. I mean, it's a little different, but they were huge.
I saw them live recently.
Everclear. Yeah, those groups. And later, never was a fan of Bush, but they were pretty big in the 90s. You mentioned Alice in Chains, which if you don't like Alice in Chains, then you can't say.
Oh, and Scatterbrain. Fucking hell. Now, for some reason, America never got right into Scatterbrain, but Scatterbrain actually got a #1, but it was in Australia. Don't Call Me Dude. it sat at #1 for like 6 weeks. We heard that song and we just went fucking crazy. Scatterbrain are really good musicians with really good songs, and were just so underrated in America. It was a shame.
And if you're going to talk about the 90s, you do have to talk about a massive rebirth of bubblegum also. You know, all of a sudden you had NSYNC and Backstreet Boys who took over the fucking world, man. And hate them, didn't like them, but god damn, you couldn't turn on the TV without hearing about those fuckers for a minute.
Yeah, they're seriously, when they'd put on a concert, there'd be a slight gravity shift of all the panties dropping at the same time.
And then, of course, you had Britney and Christina Aguilera.
Oh, fucking Britney. Jesus, when she first came out. Oh, God. And she lost her shit.
Yeah, definitely lost her shit. But then
Spice Girls, honestly.
Yeah, Spice Girls. I mean, you had a lot, but you had that shitty music basically. Because let's face it, to me it was shitty music. People liked it, I guess, but then you listen to people like, oh, Christina Aguilera's voice is so amazing, but then you still had Whitney Houston and Toni Braxton. No, their voices are amazing. Christina Aguilera is a white girl who can carry a tune. That's it.
You're right. Let's quickly touch on the flip side of this coin. The opposite of all the awesome music was Kurt Cobain's lovely wife.
Yeah.
Now, have you heard raw singing tracks from her albums?
No.
She sounds like it sounds like someone's murdering a fucking cat in an alleyway with a chainsaw. It's bad.
I believe it, dude. I feel bad for Kurt. I had to listen to her like wailing all the time. That poor bastard.
Okay, and look, the name of the band was quite fitting. Fucking Hole.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, just wanted to make sure that we were grounded in reality because, let's face it, not everything was awesome in the 90s, and she's living proof of that.
I see the chat just fine, by the way, Raisin.
Yeah.
I guess it went dead for a minute. Like, it just wasn't moving. Like, nobody was saying anything when we were crap.
Okay. Okay, cool. But yeah, dude, she was horrible. She was horrible. What's her name? But let me look. I'm looking here. But you also had explosion of like Mariah Carey in the 90s.
And country started to do fusions with other stuff. Run DMC, Aerosmith, and stuff like that was really big in the 90s too. It's like, let's mix and match, I don't know, polka and speed metal.
Yeah,
I liked the Spawn soundtrack, but that mixed metal with rap. Or DJs specifically worked with heavy metal art, like bands, and the Spawn soundtrack. I wasn't a big fan of the movie, but the soundtrack, that was some interesting shit. And that was definitely late 90s because that was when I was working at Rainbow Records.
Yeah. Honest Red says, I think you're glossing over just how huge the Spice Girls were. No, we're not. We just don't like the Spice Girls and we don't really want to talk about them.
We just didn't really care.
We acknowledge that they were bigger than fucking 10.
No, they were huge. They were fucking huge, dude. And, imagine their pussies was just as big. No, they were huge for a moment, and I'm glad it was only a moment because that music sucked. I'll tell you what I want. What I really, really want, though.
Oh God,
what do you want?
I wanna. It's fucking just stupid.
I want to kill myself now.
I mentioned the record store. That was the late 90s is when that Chumbawamba Tub Thumping came out. Nobody knew the damn name of it. So I'm sitting at the store and everybody would come in all day long and they'd want that song. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. I'd make them all sing it. It was hilarious. That was the best month of work of my life.
Get up and get knocked down. But I get up again.
Oh, that's the one. You take the whiskey drink, you take the cider drink, and it just keeps going on and on and on and on and on.
Think it's something about the good times. Think it's something about the
that has some people from the UK saying stuff and singing stuff.
But we're also going to tell you somebody you have to mention, which is named two people you have to mention that really ruled the 90s and the late 90s. And this young man over here has the name of both artists. and that would be Marshall Mathers and Marilyn Manson.
Oh yeah, buddy.
Those two ruled the fucking scene, bro, in the late 90s. They were as big as you could get.
Well, you know, fucking Eminem. I was born in '98, so I didn't get the 90s, but I gravitated towards that music just as I got older. And when I go back and listen to Eminem, and when I think about the fact that like no one was really doing that shit, like the sound effects and the way he delivered his shit, it's just so impressive.
He was different, and you were born in '98. God damn, dude, I was 21 in '98. Oh,
that's what I was just screaming about. I'm like, oh my god, after I graduated high school, that is so fucking.
Yeah, I was able to buy alcohol when you were born. Oh fuck. Anyways,
I still can't buy alcohol.
You made me feel so old, boy.
You know, but for a second there, that actually made me feel better. At least he's not old enough to buy alcohol. If he was born after I graduated high school and he could buy alcohol, I might just have to give up on life right now.
But that's crazy. But yeah, Eminem was definitely different from anybody out there on the scene. And the one reason, he was so successful is because he didn't rap about black man problems. He didn't come out there and he rapped about shit that the white boy in the trailer park could relate to.
His mom on pills.
Yeah. And he's
goddamn good. The lyrical flow was not matched at that time. Now there are people that have gotten a hang of it, but then that was the only shit like that. He made me like rap again.
They gotten a hang of it because they're all copying him. Because he was the master. He was the master of it. I mean, he was really, really good. Now, there's a lot of great
big artists at the time all knew it. Like, he had respect from everyone. Like
everybody, yes, everybody.
He just is goddamn good at what he does.
Yes, really good. And then good.
Oh, sorry. No, you go. I'll keep talking about old mate because I'll mention another artist after you finish.
I was just gonna say something about Marilyn then, and Marilyn tapped into a vein that nobody else was tapping into. He brought back shock, glam rock, but with a twist. And so, what were you going to say, Red?
Well, I'll quickly mention Manson. I think what Manson did was expanded on what Bowie did with his experimentation with gender bending and all that with Ziggy Stardust. He took it to, like, obviously each decade we hit new levels of what we consider extreme, and he really evolved that whole concept along to a fucking big thing. But another prodigy that sadly died before his time, Lamort mentioned him, Jeff Buckley, fucking guy, because I like playing guitar. That guy was incredibly fucking talented, and it's just a real shame. I think he went for a swim somewhere and he fucking ended up drowning in some river in mid-America. It was really sad. But I don't know if you're familiar with the artist, but the guy had a fucking angelic voice, but he could fucking really play the guitar while he was singing. It was one of those kind of like a Stevie Ray Vaughan, but with a better voice. He was awesome.
He was good.
What's a 90s band that everyone seems to love, but you just could never stand?
Oh, God, I'm going to get grilled for this, but for me, it would be Eminem. I just never got into Eminem. It's just like, you keep whinging about your mum, mate. Shut the fuck up and rap about shooting someone with a fucking Uzi in the face. Then you might impress me. But that was just me. I'm not knocking, like, he could flow.
Yeah.
Everything was great, but just the song topics were like...
You didn't like him, you didn't like him. I mean, that's I hate when people get mad at people for that because they didn't like something. I say all the time when I say I don't like Zeppelin, people are like, how dare thee? I'm like, fuck you. I don't like it.
Music is personal. There has to be variety, man. If there wasn't enough variety, if everybody liked the same music would suck.
Yes. And yes. And it's like, comedy and music are two things that really tap into such a personal thing, right? I've always said that I look at comedy like a lot of people do music. So it's very personal. Music is supposed to be personal. If you don't like it, you don't like it. This is the way it is.
Yeah. My favorite band of the 90s was Pantera. I saw them live in 94. That gig changed my life. I've got tinnitus from it, but it really inspired me to go and try and play guitar a bit better because, Phil, the singer Phil, they did it. They do a bit of a trick. They toss out beers at the fucking thing so you can have a beer with the band. These guys were tossing out fucking half cups of beer at least 50, 60 feet out into the pit, and not one drop of beer was spilt while they were tossing them. They had it down to and they could have gone to the fucking Olympics. They were that good at it.
Yeah, and and you mentioned country a minute ago. I wanted to tap into like one of the guys who brought country kind of back into the popularity in the 90s was Garth Brooks.
Oh, fuck yeah.
I mean, whether you like country or you like he crossed over in ways a lot of other people couldn't do. And then of course you had Shania Twain, who was for a moment there. Shania Twain had to worry about the balls.
Yeah, but you also had the answer to his question for me, Billy Ray Cyrus. I could not stand.
Billy Ray was the boy band of country.
Oh, I disliked him even more than the boy bands like NSYNC and Backstreet Boys that were out at the time, which also annoyed me. But I hate Billy Ray Cyrus's music. He sucks.
He was the country version of pure bubble gum, and was there to completely a sex symbol, and nobody really gave. The women didn't give a fuck. Who the hell would think
he's hot? He was a goofy mullet rocking. Oh,
his mullet though, he has a sexy mullet.
All right, I want to see if you guys know that. Now I'm going to name 3 singers, and I want to see if you pick up. Have you ever heard of Lee Kernaghan?
Sounds familiar, but I'm not going to say no.
All right. What about Slim Dusty?
No.
No. And John Williamson?
That name does sound familiar, really familiar.
Now, you might remember a song that's from the Vietnam era, I Was Only 19, and it talks about fucking the Channel 7 chopper, and it's like story of Vietnam flashbacks. That's John Williamson. Slim Dusty is one of the most famous country and western singers from Australia, and Lee Kernaghan has won more country gold albums than any other man alive in Australia. So if you like country, check out those 3
Well,
guys.
the country scene in Australia is pretty big anyway.
Oh, fuck. What is Tamworth? It's like they have the meet up there once a year and have the country music festival, and shit gets real. It's like you want to have a big party, you go to fucking Tamworth and fucking throw down. It's awesome.
Yeah, Keith Urban, who's a huge country star from Australia. So, but you had a lot of cool, great music. I'm trying to think of something. Let me go over this list of some of the Destiny's Childs of the '90s. They were fucking huge.
Yeah,
whether you like them or not, dude. The birth of Beyonce. So. And we all know Queen Bee is taking over the world. The Stones had a big album in the 90s too. Which one was that? A fucking huge. I mean, they had a couple albums, but there was one really good album. I can't remember which one it was.
I can't remember, but I'll tell you, I think this was the 90s. Was it the Traveling Wilburys?
Maybe, yeah.
And that was like the superstar band. That was like Roy Orbison, fucking.
Yeah.
It just had a dude from every major fucking awesome band from the 70s and 80s. They were all fucking there. Mm-hmm. A lot of them. Tom Petty was in it. That's right.
Tom Petty's fucking awesome. Oh, hell, fuck. I can't believe I didn't mention this, man. Red Hot Chili Peppers, man.
Fuck yeah.
They fucking ruled. It was so good. So
that was like an entire summer, like listening to the one.
At the Rozzy gig, they rocked out on stage and they're just wearing socks.
Yeah, I remember that. That's fucking crazy. But who else? Fuck. Nickelback came out in the 90s.
Oh, that's right.
Creed.
No.
They were, for a moment though, Creed was huge. With arms wide open.
Everyone makes mistakes, and humanity now and again just picks a shit up.
But yeah, Third Eye Blind came out in the 90s. Gin Blossoms, Radiohead.
Yeah, there's so many fucking good bands that came out. This would sit here for fucking 3 days just mentioning them all.
Weezer.
I was just about to say that.
Which to me, Weezer is one of those. Catch me on a moment.
Weezer's like, I really haven't liked any of their recent stuff, but like that first album, the Blue Album, is just so good that I'm just instantly forever a Weezer fan, just because that album was so good.
What about John Petrucci and Dream Theater? Were they around in the 90s? I fucking honestly can't remember. And if you're not familiar with John Petrucci and you like guitars, you've been living on another fucking planet.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I've heard of them. All right, so music. We can get back to talk about some more music here a little bit. I want to kind of jump into film because '90s had a lot of good movies. I think the '90s was actually when the end of the '90s, I was like, it hadn't been a lot of great movies out since 2000, in my opinion. There's been a handful, but not like it doesn't seem like film after film of good movies in the 2000s. But the 90s had a lot of good ones, a lot of big blockbusters. Even some of them aren't fucking good. Like, I hate Titanic, but goddamn, you can't get bigger than Titanic was in the 90s. You had Jurassic Park. The franchise of Jurassic Park was birthed in the 90s. Independence Day was a huge movie. The Sixth Sense, the only movie done by M. Night Shyamalan fucking shit that I ever enjoyed was The Sixth Sense.
My favorite movie was the 90s, Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs, absolutely great movie. Awesome. Forrest Gump came out in 94, right?
I'm gonna support Terminator motherfucker 2.
There you go.
91. Yeah.
Dances with Wolves came out in 1990. I thought that was 91, but it was 1990. Good movie. Silence of the Lambs, 91.
The Fifth Element.
Was awesome.
Yeah.
Fifth Element was in 1997.
Mm-hmm.
What else have we got?
Suspects, man, right in the middle.
Yeah.
95.
12 Monkeys. That was actually a pretty good movie.
Yeah.
It's pretty freaky. That was 95.
Saving Private Ryan, which was an amazing movie, came out in I don't know what year it was though.
Shit. Yeah, Galaxy Quest was in 1999. That was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I own that one. That is a good movie.
Braveheart came out in 95. That was a good movie. I like Braveheart.
Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The English Patient. That was a great movie. The Toy Story, for the kids. Those movies came out in the 90s. Armageddon, which was not very good, but it was a huge movie. It was a big movie.
All right. What about, here's a fucking classic, and you either really love this one or you really fucking hate it, and that's Starship Troopers.
Oh, I loved it.
See, I wasn't super keen on the movie, but I liked the animated, the computer animated series, the Roughneck series. The Roughneck stuff was really good, and we watched a lot of that back then. But yeah, the movie.
I love the movie. It was meant to make
a lot of people did.
It was meant to be cheesy as fuck. And
there you go. Same question that Marshall asked. What was the movie? Like, because that was the movie for me that everybody loved that I just couldn't get down with. Like, what was your movie like that?
Oh,
Rico's Roughnecks. All right, here's another one for you. Now, I don't know if you remember this one. I fucking love this movie because it was Peter Weller. Screamers.
Yeah.
That was fucking. The ending was twisted. It was like, you sick bastards.
She has a lot of good movies. Shawshank Redemption came out in the 90s. I mean, that's one of my favorites.
That is one of the best movies of all time.
Good Will Hunting is another one on top of my list.
Was Good Poet Society the 90s too?
I think so.
Early 90s. I'm not sure. Yeah, I think so, though. I'm at Robin Williams movies. One of his biggest comic movies was Mrs. Doubtfire, came out in the 90s.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Pretty Woman came out in the 90s. That was a big movie.
I love that one.
What about two?
Dead Poet Society was 89. Damn it.
What happens when you get a movie and you get one of the biggest pieces of cheese in Hollywood, and then you get the second possibly biggest piece of cheese in Hollywood and just melt them together into a movie? It's called Demolition Man.
Which was fun, though.
Yeah. I've got to admit, the scene where he's like trying to go to the dunny and there's no toilet paper and they're laughing at him, he just starts swearing his tits off to get the fines and goes, and walks into the dunny.
He doesn't know how to use the 3 seashells.
Yeah, the 3 seashells, that's right. No one knows how to use them. That's just a mystery that the world will never fucking get an answer to.
Yeah, it was a fun movie. It wasn't,
It was.
And I loved it, when he discovered the fucking taser gun or phase gun or whatever it was. That was funny.
I was just about to say, Batman said Blade. I fucking loved Wesley Snipes kicked ass in that.
Oh, that was like my best movie experience ever. I love that movie.
Here's a cheesy romance movie that I fucking love, and I don't give a fuck who makes fun of me. But Ghost was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, and Demi Moore. Whoopi Goldberg.
Well, yeah. Patrick Swayze, baby.
Oh, that movie was quite sad, funny, wonderful, romantic, and tragic all rolled into one. The ending was pretty fucking just, I thought. It was like, that was a good ending.
Yeah, and you had, there's a lot of great. I mean, you want to talk about considered one of the greatest animation movies, The Lion King.
Yeah.
It was.
Disney just made. It was raining money over in Disneyland in the 90s. That's for fucking sure.
Here's another kids movie that was pretty fucking good. Home Alone.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. It's a classic.
Yeah, I was never as big on that as everybody else, but the Disney stuff, I think that was big because of the music. Their music was tight in the 90s, you know what I mean?
I think it was good because they marketed the shit out of it, and as soon as the kids saw the poster, it was like, "Mom, I want that TV! I want that DVD!" And they just wouldn't shut up till they got it. Little bastards.
Here's a film that came out in the 90s, based on the 70s, with one of the most awesome soundtracks of all time, and that is Dazed and Confused.
Yes, that was one of my favorite movies in the 90s. I love that. I own that too.
Yeah, I love that fucking movie, dude.
It was good.
The Mummy came out in the 90s.
Was PCU in the 90s? Hold on, let me check.
Who?
Yeah.
PCU? I love that movie.
What was the actor's name in the Mummy? Was that Brendan?
Brendan Fraser.
Yeah, I thought he was a really good actor, and I don't know why he didn't get much work after The Mummy. I thought he was pretty decent.
Well, he had a couple of good movies before The Mummy when he was younger. What was it? He had one with Joe Pesci. Called With Honors. He had one movie called With Honors. That was a very good movie. And then
he did one with Sandler. They were the Lone Rangers, like the band that took over the radio station. I thought that was Airheads, was it?
Airheads, yes. Yep. Very good movie. That was a very good movie, actually.
Encino Man came out in the 90s.
Yep.
Yeah, I liked Encino Man. That was
Brandon Fraser in it too.
Yeah, that had Suicidal Tendencies / what was the fucking other band that those guys did on the side? Had it Sisypheus fucking.
Everything about that movie was big. Even Pauly Shore was big at the time.
Oh, Pauly Shore was huge at the time, man. He was,
Oh, yeah. That was embarrassing for the world. If aliens invaded at that point, we wouldn't have had a leg to stand on.
Yeah, I agree. What else was going to say? Oh, we're talking about movies. Yes, I got lost for a second there. But, you talk about some trilogies that were born. Like I mentioned the Jurassic Park. I mean, talking about a fucking cash cow. Even though I'm not a huge fan of Jurassic Park films, but damn, it was big. And yes, Nicole Green mentioned Pulp Fiction. Absolutely, an awesome movie.
Men in Black started off in the 90s.
Yeah, Men in Black. The Matrix.
Yep, that was 99, I think.
Yeah, something like that. It was late 90s. Yeah, absolutely.
That movie blew people's minds, and rightly so. And then part 2, everyone just went, and then part 3, everyone just went,
Yeah, it's just
Alexis, Reservoir Dogs. I love that movie. Woo.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, Tarantino.
Yeah,
you can't get no better than Tarantino. Twister. You guys remember that movie, right? That was that was a cool movie. It was fun. Sometimes you just gotta go have fun. And Twister was a fun movie to watch. There's a cow. There's another cow. I think it's the same cow. I love that scene. I mentioned dances. Well, Tarzan, the animation Tarzan. Yeah, whatever. Mission Impossible. Rebirthed it in the 90s. So yeah. Anyways, I mentioned Armageddon. Mentioned Braveheart. Schindler's List, 1993. Now. I'm not I thought Schindler's List was kind of shitty in my opinion, but
it's not the kind of movie you'd want to watch twice, but it's the kind of movie that I think everybody should watch once.
Oh shit! We nearly forgot the potentially the biggest butchering of a fucking comic book franchise ever when Sylvester Stallone donned the helmet of Judge Dredd only to remove it fucking 5 minutes into the movie because he's a fucking vain cockhead. Sorry, I lose it a bit when people fuck with Judge Dredd like that. It's like, luckily, the latest version of Judge Dredd was basically true to the comic and perfect. So, yeah, I'm all right. I'm calm. It's okay.
Batman and Robin, that was in the 90s, right?
Yeah.
With bunch of that was
the worst Batman ever.
Oh, God, wasn't it what?
Not Keaton, I'm sorry. George Clooney was the worst Batman ever.
Yeah. Clooney, and what was then there was Batgirl, fucking Alicia, what was her name? God, she was annoying.
Uncle Alfred.
Alicia Silverstone. She was big because her and Liv Tyler were doing the Aerosmith videos at the time.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned that. Didn't that movie Clueless came out in the 90s? That's what made her really huge, too.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what made her kind of big. TV in the 90s. Let's talk about TV. Recently made a comeback, and Roseanne was huge in the 90s.
Favorite sitcom, Roseanne.
I loved that show back, and I haven't watched any other new stuff, but it was big. Coach, that was another one of my favorite shows back when I was younger. It was really good. Empty Nest, you had Cheers, of course. But it was late 80s, early 90s. The Cosby Show was late 90s, too. Early 90s, late 80s. Night Court, we mentioned that yesterday. This seems like shows from the 80s.
See, I don't feel that way, though. Like, a lot of the good things from the 90s in my mind, just because I'm biased, really, but they're like, it's carryovers from the 80s. Like, the 90s just was a blend over from the 90s, and then once it died, everything changed it.
Well, here's some, that we know that started in the 90s. The 70s Show.
That show.
Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, man. I love Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
Full House, Murphy Brown, The Wonder Years. A lot of these shows fed over from the 80s.
Yeah. Was Married with Children in the 90s?
Late 80s, 90s, yeah, I think, yeah.
Did we mention that yesterday?
I think so. I think we did. Let me see. Oh, fuck. Ren and Stimpy 90s, man.
Oh, and the cartoons that were on MTV, the Liquid Television stuff.
Your Beavis and
and shit like, yeah, dude, that's when the cool, like, it was kind of the downfall because that was the first step away from music. But
yeah, and Celebrity Deathmatch was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
We were talking about MTV yesterday. We mentioned some of there were 90s shows, but Beavis and Butthead was fucking amazing, awesome. back in the day. I mean, it was just like, yeah, a lot of that stuff started on that Liquid TV or whatever, and then they created their own shows off of it. It was pretty huge.
South Park, that's another one.
Absolutely, South Park, yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Family Guy started in the 90s, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Simpsons.
What about Futurama?
Futurama, yeah, absolutely. Here's you one, you know, because I know Red likes to think about Chuck Norris a lot. Walker, Texas Ranger was in the 90s.
Fuck yeah. Fucking denim jeans, cowboy boots, and fucking roundhouse kicks.
Now, here's a show that was in the 90s. It was fucking huge. And you know, really introduced the world to George Clooney, ER.
Oh, God.
I never got into that.
It was a huge show. God damn it, show was me. But what was some other? Was this Chicago Hope came out too back in the day? Dawson's Creek. Oh God.
I heard on the grapevine that the Russians had targeted Dawson Creek as their first strike point when they attack America.
Now, we mentioned this yesterday, and I want to mention this today because the late 90s, something really huge happened on cable television, and it was called the Monday Night Wars between WWE and WCW. Monday Night Raw, Monday Nitro had the fucking world by the balls.
Stone Cold, man. Stone Cold wins.
Yeah. But that TV rivalry, they had more viewers than anybody. I mean, their fucking Nielsen score was through the roof, both shows.
Well, that was when I went back to watching wrestling when all that was going on, because I hadn't watched since like Hulk Hogan and Andre the Giant were big. Yeah. And then all that shit was going on with Stone Cold or whatever. And I looked at the other option. I'm like, okay, a funny storyline that I enjoy versus a bunch of fucking people talking with growly voices and gold underpants. I think I'm going to watch WWF.
Yeah, man, it was huge. You can't deny the impact that it had. And now the Simpsons debuted in 1989, but it was, you know, it was huge in the 90s. So,
yeah. And there's one thing that happened on TV in the 90s, technically on cable, is now if you remember back in the 60s, you couldn't say certain words on TV, and hell was one of them. They pushed that through, and eventually someone said hell, and then shit. Well, I do believe in the 90s there was a show called The Larry Sanders Show. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm. I was on HBO.
And it was funny as fuck. Now, there was an episode right at the end. Hank drops the C-bomb for real. He fucking calls Larry's wife a cunt. Right at the end. It's like it's the first show, I think, ever to air without fucking bleeping out the word cunt. In America and over here anyway. I'm not sure about other countries, but interesting side note.
I'm glad you mentioned that because also in the 90s, a show called the NYPD Blue, right? They showed the ass shot. It was the very first ass shot on television in America. They showed the fat dude's ass.
That's right, yeah. He was actually a good character.
Oh, it was a great character, great show. But they showed his ass, and people went fucking insane over that shit, man. They showed his buttocks.
Imagine what it's like to be that guy. Like, my ass was the first ass on TV.
Yeah, you have to be.
He'd be walking around the old bloke's home probably right now, fucking with his ass hanging out going, "This is on TV, kiss it."
Oh, here's something that was birthed in the 90s that I know you love, Red Eye. Third wave feminism.
Oh, hooray. It saved the planet, didn't it? You know, we ended up with such lovely people as, Big Red and Anita Sarkeesian, and they've been so good for our modern society. Just look how we all thrive and get along so happily. Look at what happened to Steve Shives. Thank you, feminism.
Thank you for that third wave of great.
Fucking motherfucker. Sorry.
It was such an amazing wave.
Of shit.
Oh shit!
It was still fucking cleaning up. God damn it! It gets in everything. Don't they know about shit?
But here is something great that came from the 90s, and this is something great. DNA.
DNA.
Yes.
That's a code, isn't it?
But the DNA identification is what DNA was always there, but them starting to use it in law and everything really was big in the 90s, and it helped.
The ability to test it, the ability to accurately test for it.
Yeah, it was huge. It changed a lot of things. It changed the game, basically.
I'm pretty sure that Monsanto invented DNA in 1992.
You know what I meant, though, right? You know.
I do. I'm just fucking with you.
The identification of individuals, using it. So yeah, that was really big. Anyways, also I'm looking at some more political and science stuff. Genetically engineered crops are developed for commercial use.
Yes. GMO rices, golden rice, and it enables a lot larger harvests from a lot less fertilizers, and it grows in more arid conditions, less water. And here's a little pro tip for all those people who say GMO food shit's like, you remove GMO foods right now and we just go to organic only, about a third of the planet starves to death. I would like you to choose which third starves to death if we get rid of GMO and we go with organic only foods. Okay, so you talk amongst yourselves.
How about we just throw in, and instead of investing money in Franken crabs, we invest in the plenty of ideas on how to grow things in a smaller space. And this can absolutely happen. And we can take it to off-grid energy to do it too. Plenty of designs, Red. We don't have to grow that way. And golden rice is worth shit compared to what it said it was going to do. It does not feed people like it said. Look up the actual stats on golden rice. Golden rice is bullshit.
Is it?
Yes. In my humble opinion. But, I will send you links and you can take a look for yourself. And then look up the opposing ones, because I'd never argue about something if I don't look at the other side. Sorry.
You know what else happened in the 90s? NASA's spacecraft Pathfinder lands on Mars and deploys a small roving vehicle. Sojourner, how you call it, which analyzes the planet's geology and atmosphere. That was pretty big.
Yep.
Yeah, that was really big. The Hale-Bopp comet swings past the sun for the first time in 4,200 years in April 1997. That also happened.
Isn't that the one that the Heaven's Gate cult killed themselves too?
Yep.
Yeah.
Sure was. That is the one. Them crazy, stupid motherfuckers killed themselves.
That was a fucking alien mothership, dude. Coming to beat them the fuck up.
What else? We read that. The human something. No, I'm reading something wrong there. I'm looking. Development of biodegradable products replacing products made from styrofoam, advances in methods for recycling of waste products such as paper, glass, and whatever. So recycling became a real big deal.
Yeah, there was a giant green push there at the end. Al Gore wrote a book and everything. There was, big green movement at that point.
Here's one of the interests you read and Landon too. Discovering of dark matter, dark energy, brown dwarfs, and the first confirmation of black holes.
That was when it got exciting.
Yeah.
Black holes.
But there was a black hole, and it's been around for years. It's called Sherwood's butthole.
Hey. There's bleach for that.
Yes. And I've been in plenty of black holes.
Wow.
Yes.
Demonetized. Ding, 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 ding.
In 1991, Soviet Union military troops attacked Lithuanian independence supporters in I can't say that name. Killed 14 people and wounding 1,000. Yeah. Mother Teresa, the Roman Catholic nun who won the Nobel Peace Prize, died at age 87.
Good riddance.
Yeah. That was an ugly old bitch, boy. She looked like hamburger meat raped. She, that's so bad. The birth of the Second Republic in Italy with the Mani Puletti investigations of 1994. I have no idea. Oh, here's something small that happened. The O.J. Simpson murder case.
Yeah, so what was it like? What was it like living through that insanity? Because
fucking crazy, dude.
That was the first time I remember the news being insane, like absolutely insane. Like, why is this the only thing they're talking about? It was weird for me.
He wasn't Cochran. John, what was his name? The lawyer. If the glove don't fit, you must acquit.
Yeah, and he didn't even. And everybody gave him all the credit, right? Cochran. It was the white lawyer in the background who came up with that fucking defense.
Yeah, I remember the South Park piss take when the whole thing is, this is Chewbacca. He's a Wookiee. Wookiee's enough for Endor. It's like, what the fuck?
But you asked how it was living through it. It was insane because pretty much everybody knew he did it. But it was right after the LA riots, right? Not too long after, So black people wanted some kind of justice. So they rooted for the murderer.
I always wondered why that was turned into a race issue because it just seems so obvious.
Because OJ was a fucking Uncle Tom. For another thing, the dude hung out with nothing but white folks. He didn't give a shit about black folks. But they used it became a big race issue because Mark Furman and his bullshit. But OJ was guilty as I am white.
Yeah,
I'm pretty fucking Caucasian.
I don't remember there ever being a trial before that where it was so public in a way where they almost seemed to be wanting the public to judge someone guilty in like the court of the public instead of the court of law. Like that, I don't recall that really being a thing at the time. But like I wasn't around and aware of things like that before that, so that's just the first time I remember that being a thing, and that threw me for sure.
It took over the world. I mean, it was like they took everything off TV for a fucking murder trial. Like all the daytime soap operas and stuff was preempted. It was all about OJ.
That happens all the time now, but I don't remember.
It was the first time it ever done.
That happening before that. Yeah,
it was really the first time that there've been like popular court cases, but nothing of that magnitude.
Nothing that was publicized like that.
Nothing since. I mean, the only thing I think that comes close is the Zimmerman trial, and even that wasn't as big.
Yeah, it was.
Now they just kind of put it. They break the news for that, but they basically don't even show you the court anymore. They just throw it in there long enough for the public to decide if they think it's guilty or not guilty, and then they just drop it now.
But but OJ was one of the biggest, athletes of all time. He was one of the. He was the juice. Yeah. He was so good as a football player, and he was so popular. So it was a big deal. But it was like.
No, but Marshall's right. There's all kinds of stuff coming out, especially now against huge artists in the movies and in music and in politics. And it's not dominating the news. It's very.
But it's because they did it with OJ. I mean, if they did it all the time.
That's right. It could have been like you're right. Like I think the race thing had a lot to do with it.
It was. I mean, like I said, it wasn't too long. I mean, it was a couple of years, but it wasn't too long after the whole LA riot thing with Rodney King and all that shit.
Yeah.
And
that was where all this division started because I don't honestly, I don't, I'm sure it was there and I was young, but I really don't recall it being an issue. Like I hung out with anybody and they hung out with me. Like I was in a suburban neighborhood, but I don't know. I don't remember it being a thing, but then by the time I was out of high school, it was definitely a thing. You know what I mean?
It was, oh man. And it was like the whole water cooler talk. Everybody was talking about the OJ thing, man.
Yeah.
And I was so sick of it. Even back then, I was a jaded motherfucker. Didn't want to hear about all the popular shit. And I was like, fuck y'all. I don't give.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was just, and I guess the reason they don't do it like that now is because of how they did it with that, how they shoved it down people's throats, and I don't think people want that anymore like that.
Did you see his hypothetical confession he did recently in that documentary?
No.
Well, you know, he wrote a book not too long after. You know, if I'd have done it, this is how I would have done it.
Like, how does it, like, if I'm innocent and I know I'm innocent, that's not something I would write. I'm saying.
But yeah, he's OJ's a piece of shit.
Pretty much.
Klass, y'all remember the Klass story, right?
Refresh my memory. I do not actually.
She okay, wait a minute. October 93 was kidnapped by Richard Allen Davis from her home during a sleepover party. She was later strangled to death. After her death, her father, Mark Klass, established the Klass Kids Foundation. It was really huge back then. It was a big story. Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. Anyways, I'm trying to look in. Oh, yeah, Lorena Bobbitt happened in 1996.
Oh, God. Yeah, that was crazy.
You know that story, right, Marshall?
Is that the bitch that got her kneecaps busted?
No, that's Lorena Bobbitt. Lorena Bobbitt cut her husband's dick off
while he was sleeping.
Wait, but that's not the best bit. The best bit is it was surgically reattached, and later on, he was in a porno.
He was in a porno.
It was John Wayne's Bobbitt uncut. She took it for a ride, and they had to go and find it.
Yeah, she threw it on the side of the road. And what I always thought about, what if she'd actually been driving by a fucking toxic waste plant, threw it in a toxic waste dump, it grew like a massive car, went down the freeway, helicopters chasing it, and all of a sudden it stopped in a tunnel and started going in and out, in and out.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
I think they're just lucky that a fucking stray dog or cat didn't just grab it. Fucking rat.
You give me that dick, and dog. But yeah, she cut his dick off when he was asleep. He wasn't a cheater, abuser, or whatever, I guess. And Lorena just went in there and took what she did with a knife, like a steak knife, right?
Yeah, kitchen knife.
Kitchen knife. Went there, grabbed a kitchen knife, and cut that boy's dick off. Yep, that was a crazy, crazy story. Now, you mentioned the chick getting bopped in the knee. Now, that happened in the 90s, too. That was Nancy Kerrigan who got hit in her knee while it was done by Tanya Harding.
Oh, yep. the fucking ice skaters.
Yeah, the figure, yeah. She had the fat guy hit Nancy Kerrigan in the knee with a pipe. I remember that shit, too. I remember watching it, and she was laying on the ground. Why, God, why?
Well, she was an Olympian, yeah. That was. See, I'm in the ice skating, and I loved ice skating at the time.
It was a big deal.
She stole that girl's Olympic dreams just because she was competitive, and they were both on the American team.
Yeah, but Tanya felt like she was the only one that could beat her, and which probably be true because Tanya was pretty good.
They were definitely in a dead heat, like they were in.
Yeah, so she had the bitch took out.
What about that story? Some guy like spray painted something in Singapore and got his ass whooped or something like that.
Oh yeah, you talking about the dude that gets the Singapore caning, the famous. Yeah, was it spray paint or did he steal something?
I don't know. All I know is that he got his ass whooped by a warden.
Yeah, that was in the 90s, wasn't it? I forgot about that. Yeah, there was also the dude that got his hands chopped off in, I think it was somewhere in China or something. Some American dude get his hands chopped off. Yeah, that's crazy. I think we should cane Chris over here.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I think we should cane your ass.
Why?
Because you're a bitch.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that was some pretty big stories, though. The whole Lorena Bobbitt thing, dude, that still hurts me.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd rather you just slit my fucking throat.
Yeah. Well, you said he was in a porno, so obviously it was able to regain functionality, which is impressive.
Yeah, they got. He made it was a pretty big porn too, popular porn, of course. You know.
That's the best thing you could have done in that situation. I'm just gonna make a porno.
But look, what she did was extreme, man. But he was a piece of shit.
True, but
yeah, he beat on her and shit. I think. I know he cheated on her and stuff. I think he whooped up on her ass too. But still cutting a man's dick off.
Well, for me, it was the way. I mean, it was almost like an anthem, though. You know what I mean? Like, there were a lot of like head bobbing, angry Valley Girl white chicks and black chicks at the time that were just like, if he mess around, you Lorena Bobbitt his ass. Like, they almost glorified it.
Oh yeah, that became a thing. You know, I'm gonna Lorena Bobbitt you.
Yeah.
You've been Bobbittized.
Now, what about Amy Fisher?
Oh yeah, that was big. Joey Buttafuoco.
Joey Buttafuoco. Yes.
And them pants. He made Z Cavaricci's big.
But you know, the thing about it is, it really pissed me off, and I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm gonna sound like a dick here in a minute. The person that pissed me off the most in that whole situation was the wife, the one that got shot in the face, because she went on and constantly hated on it. Yeah, well, Amy shot, but your husband's a piece of shit, bitch.
Mm-hmm.
And you gonna, I mean, look, the girl shot you in the face. I get it. You know, that's fucked up. I mean, that's really fucked up. But you put the complete blame on that girl. Like, Joy was the innocent party there. I mean,
even after she got shot in the face,
she stayed with him.
Well, the dude appeared on Howard Stern, and I guess they got Fisher on at the same time. And he was still talking like he wanted to fuck her after she shot his wife in the face.
Oh, he was a shit. And Amy Fisher was a fucking retard. Don't get me wrong, but and I'm not saying, I'm not hating on the victim. She was a victim. God. But just
see, and that's the shit you wouldn't have said in the 90s.
Yeah. True.
That was understood.
Yeah. You didn't have to apologize for everything and make everything clear in the 90s.
You ever watch some Eddie Murphy stand-up comedy in the 90s?
Yeah, this is awesome.
Apologizing.
No. Anyways, Red Eye, you dead?
Yes.
Okay, making sure. We can only hope for the best. So, growing up in that, yesterday we kind of touched up on our own real personal stuff.
Yikes.
About the kids and everything. Now, growing up in the 90s, that was my teenage years, man. That was when I really did a lot of crazy shit. It's when I was introduced to the weeds. I met my first wids in the 90s. And got laid in the 90s for the first time. You know, the 90s was awesome for me. I got my first piece of ass, my first joint, my first real fight. A lot of crazy shit in the 90s, man.
You gotta tell us that story, your first real fight.
A lot of school fights, don't get me wrong. But the first real fight I was ever in was the day I was 14 years old. And the day I beat my stepfather's ass for beating on my mom. Not my stepfather now. He's a good man. This is the man before. The last time he ever hit her, I went to him and I said, "Look, I've been scared of you my whole life." My mom got him when I was like 5 or 6 or something like that. And I told him, "I've been scared my whole life. If he ever put his hand on my mom again, we was gonna fight." And well, he did, and we did, and that was the first man I ever put a real ass whooping on. I beat him almost an inch of his life. He was a bloody pulp. And I was like this. So I always say that was the first real fight I ever was in. And it was that man was 6'4", 300-something pounds. That was a man. It was a man, and he could hit, and he hit me hard, and we fought. And that's when I realized that, okay, I'm a badass. I'm honestly, I realized I could fight, and I mean, I was
fighting some dude's nuts in a bar fight.
Yeah, I was really good at it. You know, I realized, oh wait a minute, that's something I'm pretty good at, is hitting people. I'm gonna do this more, and I started doing it a lot, and I got stupid and went to jail for it a lot too. So, but yeah. So yeah, the most proud thing in the 90s was my first piece of ass. You know, I was young. I was really young. I was 12. No. Well, 13. I was just turning 13. So yeah.
Got me by a year.
My goodness.
Yeah, but so I want to thank her today. You know,
wherever you are, thank you.
Wherever you are, young lady, you introduced me to a world that I enjoyed a lot. The world of fucking.
Well, my experience of the 90s was absolutely nothing. I was probably pissing and shitting on myself.
Me too, in the 90s alone. Like I said, I got drunk a lot in the 90s.
This is cutting it kind of close, and this is kind of going back. I know you want to talk about growing up in the 90s. We'll get back to it. But I wanted to know what it was like when Columbine happened, because that was 99.
Oh, that was crazy. Yeah. That was when that was like it wasn't the first school shooting or nothing, but it was the first widely covered, that everybody fucking heard about it. Everybody knew it was going on.
And every school had kids that fit that description, which they really sold to terrify the country, and it worked.
Yeah, it was. It terrified the fuck out of the country, and it also
there was a lot of jokes, but a lot of jokes were hiding a lot of fear, I think.
Yeah, and it also really was kind of the beginning of these news sites constantly covering one story. Constant.
On the fucking cover of, was it Time or Rolling Stone? I don't remember. Like, they were literally on the cover of magazines for what they did, which is insane.
Yeah.
Did you ever go back and look at some of the videos that they shot before they did it? Like, there's a documentary out there. Those motherfuckers were disturbed.
Yeah, they were.
Those aren't even the worst of those videos. The worst ones have been destroyed, supposedly, by the sheriff's department.
Yeah, they were. It was very, very. And the thing that we tend to forget, and in no way trying to defend those fuckers at all. I'm not, but those boys were really, really bullied.
Yeah.
They were picked on mass, and there's even a video out there where they're walking down the hall recording video, and these jocks come by and just start pushing them. Like, get the fuck out of the way, and just bullying them. And that's why that people bullying's bullshit. No, bullying's not bullshit. Bullying is a real thing. Bullying is bad, and no, it doesn't excuse what these kids done. It doesn't excuse anything, but that's why we need to figure out how we can stop this shit before it happens. Not figure out how talking to monsters and calling them monsters all the time, because they are monsters. But what made them monsters? That's the question. What made them monsters?
Marilyn Manson made them monsters.
Yeah. Well, Marilyn Manson got a lot of heat for that shit. He really did. He got a lot of heat for it, but which was complete horse shit. But that's nothing new either. Ozzy got a lot of heat for shit. What was that one album? They said if you played it backwards, was it Ozzy or was it?
I think it was Kiss.
Was it Kiss?
It was fucking Ozzy. Kiss was supposed to mean Knights in Satan's Service, and it was just, it was like fucking Nancy Reagan and all of those cunts fucking did the big.
Well, you remember they said AC/DC meant Antichrist, Devil's Children, and they got the name off of a sewing machine.
Yeah.
But Marilyn wasn't the first person to get blamed for that shit. But I do remember when that happened, though. Marilyn caught a lot of fucking slack for that shit.
They didn't even like his music that much. I think they kind of liked him.
I don't even know if they were huge fans or not, to be honest with you. But it's we need to figure out the problem before it happens. What can we do to stop this shit? But they become, and I'm in no way defending what they did, because there's no defense to it. But they didn't just one day out of the blue decide to go shoot up a bunch of people.
No, they planned for the part of almost 2 years, I think.
And in their minds that it was justified, which it wasn't. It wasn't justified. There was no reason for but they were pushed to a point where I guess they felt like they were justified.
People don't like to be isolated, and when you're forced to go somewhere 5 days a week and be surrounded by people, so you have tons of people around you, but you're forced to feel isolated, that will make a person very angry.
Yeah.
Nobody, no matter what anybody says, nobody actually enjoys and wants isolation. You can tell yourself you do because you feel like you have no other choice, so you're just going to do what you got to do. But nobody wants that.
No.
And if you force that on somebody, and you force it on them while taunting them and making them feel physically threatened,
You know, and I remember at the time, I do believe I was kind of in church at the time, and it was kind of a big deal. People, you know, praying and all that stuff. But yeah, it was a very fucked up feeling. It was like a really dark feeling. You know, it was like it bothered me. It bothered me. I remember it really stuck with me for a while there.
Yeah,
because I remember, you know, I wasn't bullied in high school or nothing. I was, you know, kind of popular in high school, but as an elementary kid, I was bullied. And then I also remember the kids in high school that were bullied. And so you know, that could have happened. And it did. It's happened many, many times now.
Look, that hit hard because of that. Like, straight out honest, I was not a popular kid. I was bullied. I was an outcast.
Yeah.
And I had made angry jokes to my friends before about, you know, maybe one day I'll just fucking blow up, you know what I mean? I'll just set up a bomb in this motherfucker, like, fuck them all. Like, making jokes like that until that happened. And it was just like all of a sudden that dark sinking, like, oh my God, somebody really hurt people. Like, that fucked everybody up. And it's changed how I felt about, like, at that point, I was a different kind of isolated from then on. Like, I was a lot less angry because I was afraid of the anger.
And it's still happening. And it's and it's like, I hate to say this, but
bullying can go viral now, the way they all have their phones and the internet and the social media.
That kid that shut up their last high school, right? There's proof out there that they bullied him.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like I'm trying to defend it, and I'm not, because you don't want to defend it, but you also want to get to the root of the problem. You want to figure out what's causing this, and just to say, oh, they're monsters is not really.
That's just the easy answer.
That's the easy answer. Yes, that's the easy.
Everyone wants to act like it's this issue or that issue, like it's guns or it's not gun control or whatever, mental health.
It's a lot of things. A lot of things.
There's a societal problem here.
Very nuanced.
There's mental health, guns, societal problems. I think the way that we are evolving with social media is also really fueling people's violent nature. Yeah. And the more people keep pretending like we need to focus on one issue, the farther you're driving us away from progress.
Yeah.
And as someone who, I know the effects it can have, like when someone's bullied or picked or stalked or whatever, it can drive a person to do things that they normally wouldn't do.
Yeah. Desperation and fear will drive you to do some insane things.
It's recently happened to me recently. I mean, I'm pushed to a point sometimes where I feel like I want to do something. And you know, I'm pretty sure that Red and you and Raisin, I've all felt this situation. It's like when you're putting okay, I'm kind of in a spotlight, right? Kind of, you know, in public eye. People come at me. Well, how do I handle it? You know, how do I do this? How do I do that? And I'm glad that I'm a 40-year-old man that's been through experiences. I'm glad, because if I was 16, having to deal with some of the shit that I deal with now, I don't know what I would do.
Yeah, I was a lot less stable at 16.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, you know, at 16 years old, I couldn't handle the shit I can handle now. I'm pretty sure you can say the same thing, Red. You know, having to deal with some of the shit you deal with now. There's no way you could deal with it when you were 16.
Nah, it's like I like opening up my emails now and again and reading, you know, things like "you should fucking die, you fucking worthless cunt" and things like that. You know, that doesn't make me feel like flying a building into a plane or anything like that.
Well, yeah, exactly. But think about how it fucking fucks with you now, like it does me. But if you were 15 and 16, it fuck with you a whole different way.
Yeah, I wouldn't be doing too well on the internet because that's when my bipolar disorder was kicking off. So I was a rather you couldn't picture it though. I was a really argumentative person back then.
Yeah, and to see like 40-year-old men want to sit there and you know judge these kids. Look, dude, you would do it different because you're a 40-year-old man. You've been through those experiences. You know how to handle things. I can handle, like, okay, right now, I mean, Marshall's a grown man now, but I'm pretty sure I can handle things better than he can because I've had that experience to handle it.
Mm.
You know, it's just common sense. So we're throwing this shit at kids and then calling them monsters because they react this way. Yes, they are monsters, but that is not that clear cut.
A lot of those shooters, including the Columbine shooters, were on antipsychotic medications as well.
And I'm in no way defending these fuckers, by the way. I'm just saying.
You know, I understand why you're being cautious, but it's like, it's kind of crazy that to even propose a point, you have to qualify it so much, you know.
Yeah. But you do. I mean, especially because, because the next thing you know, old Pimp's up here trying to defend school shootings. I mean, and people would say that shit.
No, but it is important. And I think, for anybody who doesn't get it or wants to argue it's anything else, like, I think it's important what you're doing because you have to look at all the perspectives. Like, even if it's something you're not comfortable with, if you're uncomfortable with it, maybe explore why, because depending on the level, you know what I mean? Like, because there are dark sides of all of us, and it needs to be talked about and needs to be seen from all the different perspectives so you can get a full picture. Otherwise, how do you solve it? If you don't understand all the perspectives, you're not going to come up with a solution that's
I do have a solution, though. I think we should get Red Eye to have public speakings with these young people.
Scared straight with Red.
Scared straight with Red Eye.
Fucking hell.
He'd be like, listen here, you fucking cunts.
Well, I'd just like to touch on this real quick about the last shooting. Here's why we can actually look at that one, and there's a bunch of things that happened, but one of the major things that happened is the cops took that dude's guns off him, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the dude's dad ended up in possession of the guns. And the cop said, we'll give them to you. Don't give them back to your kid. Yeah. Guess what dad fucking did?
Yeah.
Gave the guns back to the kid. The kid then went and killed a bunch of people. Now, I would argue that in the eyes of the law, that fucking man should be thrown in fucking jail and the key should be thrown away and he should be put in the cell next to his fucking murderous fucking kid. Because he is partly responsible for that fucking massacre. Because that dumb fucking asshole disregarded the fucking advice of the police, broke the law, and gave his son a small, what I would call an arsenal.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's bullshit.
And I think it shouldn't. We shouldn't have to still say this these days, but parents, pay attention to your kids.
Yeah. Listen to
pay attention to your fucking children. And if a cop tells you not to give your kid guns, like Red said, don't give your kid the fucking guns. It's just ridiculous. Yeah, so there's a lot of shit. I know we're talking about the 90s, but as always, we do get off reservation a lot of times on this show.
And these were important topics back then.
Yeah, it was a very important topic.
Still.
Yeah. And like I said, I want to make this clear what I'm saying. I am no way not saying that they weren't monsters. They were monsters. My question is what made them monsters? And that's what we need to look into. And maybe if we find out what's making these kids monsters, we can prevent it.
And what's bad about them is they're monsters that made a lot more monsters, deadlier monsters. They've inspired so many horrendous shootings, including the Georgia Tech shooting, which until recently, I think was the most deadly shooting in American history. And so many of these guys always link back to Columbine. And it's because I think the media handled them really bad.
They did.
They made personas out of them. But they left just enough for these kind of personalities to write themselves onto them and to identify with them. And the damage is already done as far as that goes. That was completely mishandled. Even the way law enforcement acted on scene, like nowadays when there's a shooting, they go right in. But when that happened, their approach was to contain the situation. So they literally sat outside of that school and listened to kids dying in the school.
Yeah,
that's what they just did in Florida.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I'm going to play the devil's advocate here. These men that everyone says, oh, they're cops. My ex-missus used to be a 000 operator, so she was a civilian working for the police, and she got to know these guys. They've all got wives and families and kids to go home to. They're just going to fucking work like you go to work. And when people say, oh, you get trained, it's like you go and watch soldiers get trained to run to gunfire. They get broken down and dehumanized. You can't really fucking do that just to a police officer. And it's human nature is to fucking preserve one's life.
Yeah.
You know, and the only time you throw fucking self-preservation out the window is when there's personal fucking, you know, a stake involved, i.e. you're watching your kid just about to get fucking shot. Then you'd go and take that bullet. And there's, you know, there may be police officers out there that love their community that much, but expecting police officers to run in with a pistol to try and take on someone with an AR-15 and fuck knows what else on their fucking back, it's a big ask. And I just want people to keep that in mind. It's like these guys aren't bulletproof. They go home, they're brittle, they are prone to being to dying when they get shot. And I don't think it's their job to be shot.
Now you've got people openly, seriously calling for teachers to be armed, and I think that's a horrible idea.
Oh, it's the stupidest idea ever.
Oh, that's not the worst one. There's people out there that said, we're going to give the teachers and the kids a basket of rocks so they can defend themselves.
Yeah.
Now, let's think about the act of throwing a rock. What have you got to do when you want to throw a rock at something?
Open your chest.
No. You can't stand behind a wall and throw the fucking rock through.
You're going to be open and you're lifting up, so you're opening your chest. It's a ridiculous idea.
No, so
I like it when you poke out your chest like that, though, Raisin.
You got to step out from behind the wall and make sure that you've got a good line of fire to the guy with the gun. Funny thing about this situation, though, is the guy with the gun, he's going to have a line of fire on you. And guess what travels faster? Rock or bullet?
Well, not if I'm throwing the rock. I got a very fast arm.
Yeah, right. World Series sort of fucking put a bit of pepper in there, boy.
No, it's a good point. Very good point. Very good point. It's just that I don't really like having these conversations. Y'all know that because it's a good thing to do. I do talk about some serious stuff sometimes. I usually try to keep it more lighthearted. But this subject was brought up, and this did happen. The Columbine happened in the 90s, what we're talking about. And it really, it's sad that this event happened in the 90s, and yet we still haven't really, it's just gotten worse.
Yeah, still dealing with this day. And
yeah,
it's like, I don't know. I'll just say this a bit. Yeah, the whole basket of rock thing. It's like, let's go and talk to the Palestinians and ask them how they go against the Israeli army when they're throwing rocks at those fuckers.
Yeah, if only. But you know what Forrest Gump said. Sometimes there just aren't enough rocks.
Yeah, that's right. It's like poor old Forrest. He got stung in the butt by a fucking wasp or something.
Something bit me. I'm gonna bite Raisin Girl on her boobie that was born in the 70s. She's old. But, okay.
What the fuck does that make me? That I'm so ancient I fart dust or something, right? Right.
You got scripture wrote in your asshole yourself.
I wrote the fucking Dead Sea Scrolls.
You want to talk about fashion in the 90s? I don't.
I do. Here's fashion. Fucking good pair of jeans, my fucking overcoat, pair of fucking Doc Martens, and whatever band shirt was not horribly stained with filth that I could go to the nightclub and get drunk because, that's right, in 1990 I turned 18, and guess what the legal drinking age is in Australia? It's fucking 18. So I spent most of the 90s in a fucking drunken, drug-induced haze and playing in a band, and it was I fucking loved the 90s.
The one thing that got really popular in the 90s that I still love, and that's my hoodie. The hoodies fashion became really popular in the 90s.
Yep.
You're muted, Raisin.
Hoodies are good. Hoodies, and I participated in button flies, as you saw in the picture yesterday.
Now, I don't know if you guys remember this look. I don't know if it was big around your area. I know you wasn't you, Marshall, because you weren't even a person of height then. The sloppy casual look was really popular in my school, which was basically khaki pants, a t-shirt with a button-up shirt with a t-shirt underneath, and your button-up shirt unbuttoned and tucked out.
Ferris Bueller. I blame Ferris Bueller for that.
Yeah, that was because the sloppy casual, that was my look, and it took me forever to get over that look too, by the way, because I loved that. That's how I dressed forever. But another thing that
people around that still do that.
Yeah.
You guys might have heard of a surfing company brand, Billabong.
Yeah.
They're a clothing company. Well, guess where they're from? My hometown. So I used to go to the Billabong factory and like all the second sales, which were really cheap Billabong gear that you guys paid through the fucking ass for. We used to just get all before it went out to the rest of the world. It was fucking awesome.
Okay, cool. Now, they were always around, but body piercings took on a whole new thing in the 90s, too.
My tongue pierced in the 90s.
Yeah. Body piercings became really huge in the 90s.
Batman brought up pagers, too. We used to send codes with the pagers. You had to decode all the little messages that people would send you on your pager.
I had a pager, but it was for a different reason.
Yo, you got any of those things that you found on the back of the truck so I can watch you some cable?
Well, that reason too, yeah, and the code is not. But I've talked. I did used to slang back in the day a little bit. So I had a pager. They're gonna hook me up, yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Supposed to say allegedly. Fuck, boss. The lawyer talked about this.
Well, fuck me then.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, raising girl, fuck me. But yeah, fashion kind of sucks. I never was a fashion guy.
No, I had the same fashion from probably the 80s through to right now. So I still got the same trench coat I was wearing at the fucking nightclubs 20 years ago, and I still get searched by the bouncers when I rock up to the door. I get frisked when I wear that fucking thing. I shit you not. They're looking for a shot. One dude said, "So am I going to find a sawn-off shotgun under this thing or what, mate?" I went, "I'm clean, dude."
So here's this is definitely in your wheelhouse. Both of you, all three of you actually. Not really mine, but video gaming in the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yes.
I'm gonna let you guys kind of lead that conversation because I don't know a lot about it because I never was a big video gamer. So
I got Sega for a while, but I got back in the 90s when they released Resident Evil on PlayStation. So I grabbed a PlayStation and it was over from there.
So what was that? Your 90 like right now? Somebody said, "Okay, pick a 90s game that just made you fucking flip out." Red, what would it be?
Oh fuck, I don't know. I was hammering PlayStation 1 all through the 90s. So I'd have to say Destruction Derby was probably my go-to game. I just fucking loved that game because you could just smash cars into oblivion. It was great. Yeah. With heavy metal soundtrack. It was fucking epic.
But what about Twisted Metal for that, though? Twisted Metal was a hot game.
Twisted Metal, yeah.
Twisted Metal Black was one of my favorites. Unreal was one of my favorite games to play with other people. And Resident Evil will always be my favorite games.
Now, Game Boys were huge in the 90s, too. Right? I mean, that's when they really kind of became popular, right?
There was a Nintendo 64 in the 90s, because if it was, then GoldenEye, I'll have to change my answer.
That was huge, yeah. Everybody was into that.
Yeah.
It'd be late 90s if it was 90s.
That was after I graduated.
The most popular series of handheld games. Okay, that's something else. I'm looking. Nintendo's Game Boy was also released during the 4th generation. Mega Drive Genesis. That was 1988. Well, the Super NES was 1990.
Okay, yeah.
I skipped that one. Silent Hill was good. Yeah, they're mentioning a lot of good games in the chat. Like the ones that I played, I definitely.
Yeah. No, right. 64 was 90. Yeah, so. Whenever if that was in the 90s, I played the fucking shit out. I wore out so many goddamn controls on that Nintendo 64.
I got my 64 right here.
Final Fantasy VII was another one I played a lot in the 90s.
Do you like Street Fighter?
Yes.
No, I never got into Street Fighter. Mortal Kombat, though. Mortal Kombat was
Mortal Kombat was another good one.
No, I'm just reading some of the names here. You ever play the King of the Fighters?
Mm-mm.
That was an arcade game. Okay, never mind. Street Fighter. There you go.
Even Virtua Fighter, because they had the machines in the arcades then.
Yeah. GoldenEye.
Yeah, that game's and what was Perfect Dark was the next one on. That was pretty fucking epic too. Oh shit. Yeah, and this is where shit got real for PC. Quake came out in '96. Quake changed everything. It's like Doom on fucking steroids, multiplayer, online. It's like Twitch and fucking kill, BFG, fucking, yeah, shit got epic. I still play it, and it's like 2018, and I still play that fucking game.
Can you play it online with other people still?
Nah, fuck, I just whack the bots on fucking murderously brutal and just try my best and get fucking smashed.
I want to play Quake with you.
Play Quake online in a browser now. It's like Quake 3 in a goddamn browser. And I think there's Quake Live on Steam for like $10, so we should all get that and shoot the fuck out of each other.
I have Steam, we could do that. That's great.
I was awesome at solitaire.
My dad loves
Mahjong.
I like Mahjong.
Oh, Mahjong. That's a very fast-paced, hardcore game, that one. It's not for the faint-hearted. So much action in that game. So fucking, so brutal.
In 1992, Sega produced Virtua Racing, one of the first games with full 3D graphics. It was able to combine the best features of games at the time, along with multiplayer, machine linking, and clean 3D graphics. Did you ever play that, Virtua Racing? Or Virtual Racing?
I did, actually.
Sounds like something I wasn't affording at the time.
Also, Nintendo broke new ground introducing Mario Kart series.
Oh, yeah, that game. Jesus fucking Christ. It's like that caused actual physical fights some nights when we'd get drunk and play that.
There was definitely a division at the time between the game, like the fanboys that were all about Nintendo and the people who like grown-up games, in my opinion.
Now,
I'm not biased.
This game I know. I'm playing Gran Turismo '97.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
There's Gran Turismo. There's another racing game that was huge back then.
It's Colin McRae Rally, I think.
Just read that. Just read Colin McRae Rally. Just read it.
Yeah.
Okay. The Sega Rally Championships.
Yeah. There's like the first. This is when the machine started going to disk drives, except Nintendo went the opposite direction. Went, fuck going with really good graphics and kick-ass gameplay. We're going to go with really lame graphics and archaic gameplay, and for some reason it still sells. Although apparently they've seen the light and their latest little thing does decent graphics. So, yeah.
Role-playing games. 1990 would see the release of Crystals for the Nintendo Entertainment System. Also, Golden Axe Warrior for the Master System.
Yeah, Golden Axe. Holy shit. We used to play the fuck out of that at the arcade.
Both games featured Zelda-like gameplay.
Yeah. Golden Axe was pretty fucking good fun.
There was a game they used to play at the arcade all the time. I say arcade, but back in the day, Walmart used to have all these fucking video games out in the front, and I used to go play it. It was like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat, but it was not Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat. I don't know what it was called. But
Double Dragon?
May have been.
Was it two-player?
I want to say it was called Pit Fight or some shit.
That could have been it.
It was
a knockoff. There was a lot of games that came out that were knockoffs of the good versions of it.
But this game seemed pretty cool, even though I wasn't much of a gamer. I, just fooled around with it. But
What about Virtua Fighter? Does that sound right? Pit Fighters.
Yeah, I played that in the arcade. I never bought that one, but I played it in the arcade.
Pit Fighters. Yes, I think that's the name of it right there on the screen.
Yeah, Alexis is right. The Nintendo 64's water physics fucking did really break new ground. That thing for a little tiny cartridge console did pack a lot of power in its day. Fucking a good thing.
Cool. Survival horror games.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's what got me back into gaming. Love that shit.
Alone in the Dark. You ever play that?
Somebody mentioned Silent Hill earlier. I'm sorry, I forget who that was, but I was excited to see that in chat earlier. Silent Hill was a big one.
Resident Evil was big too, right?
Yep.
Silent Hill, 1989. Silent Hill came out in 1999.
Mm.
So that was right at the end of the 90s there, wasn't it?
Yeah, one with the clock tower. That was a good one too.
Here's some notable video game franchises established in the 90s. Ace Combat.
Yep.
Age of Empires.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Baldur's Gate.
Oh, fucking hell.
It's been a while since I've heard that.
Battletoads.
Oh, good God.
Civilization. It was a PC game.
Still play that.
Yeah.
Command and Conquer. Now, I had a cousin who was using that shit.
I've got the entire collection. I've actually got a Command and Conquer Red Alert 2 hat that every time I wear it out in town, I'd go to the game shop, the fucking dude went, man, that hat must be old. And I just went, yeah, take a look at me, fucking young fucking whippersnapper now. Give me my game and get off my lawn, you little fucker.
Doom.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still
Diablo.
Oh, fuck Diablo. Blizzard. Fuck you, Blizzard.
Duke Nukem.
The most famous piece of vaporware in history, other than Half-Life 3.
Dungeon Keeper.
Yep.
Earthworm Jim.
Oh, fucking hell.
That's a hard game.
The Elder Scrolls.
Yep.
EverQuest.
Oh, EverQuest.
Oh, God. I lost half my friends to that game.
Fallout 1997.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Fire Emblem.
Never played that one.
F-Zero.
I've heard of that franchise.
Gabriel Knight.
Nope.
Grand Theft Auto. You heard of that one, I think.
I've never heard of Grand Theft Auto. All right, interesting quick side note. That game started out, the developers made it so you played as the police officer.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day, one of the devs went, oh, I'm pretty bored, and altered the code so you could start stealing cars and shit. And the rest of the guys jumped on and went, this is pretty awesome. Then they leaked some info to the press saying, oh, look at this game. It portrays crime and all that shit. They started talking about it on the 6 o'clock news, released, boom, millionaires.
Yeah.
Yep. It started out as you were supposed to be the cop. Grand Theft Auto, it started out as you were the cop and you're supposed to stop the bad guys. But it turns out that's not that much fun, apparently. But
people like being the bad guy.
Stealing shit and running people over and being a fucking criminal. Yeah, it turns out a lot of fun in a video game.
Half-Life, PC game, of course.
Oh, yes, here we go. Half-Life. That's the most famous bit of Half-Life 3. Gabe Newell, Steam, Valve, yeah. Everyone's still crying for Half-Life 3. And it's like Gabe's personal joke. He mentions it once in a while. So, oh, yeah, maybe. Everyone goes, for 6 months.
Kirby.
Oh, shit.
Medal of Honor.
Yeah,
I like Medal of Honor.
Yeah, it's a good franchise, actually. They make good games.
Monkey Island.
Yep.
Mortal Kombat, of course.
Yep.
NBA Jam.
Oh God, that's fucking EA, isn't it? Yeah.
Neverwinter Nights.
Yeah, that's a pretty big game.
Oddworld.
Abe's Odyssey and Oddworld. That was a really fucking good platformer. That one, in my opinion, I thought Abe was good.
Pajama Sam.
Never played that one.
Don't sound like something I would want to play either. Sounds like an old perverted guy. Come here, kid, play with my Sam in my pajamas.
You all look hot and sweaty.
You give me a kiss, you fat ass.
Just come down in the basement. I got some ice cream.
You want some ice cream off my nuts?
I got a whole freezer full of popsicles.
Hey, I got some popsicles down here in the basement.
Oh, here's one. Pokemon.
Oh, fucking hell.
To this day, the most profitable intellectual property of all time. Like, it's insane.
Yeah. Don't Nintendo own Pokemon?
Yeah, I think they do.
Oh, Landon's here. Hey, Landon. Yeah, cork sniffer.
Postal.
Oh, fucking hell. That game, I played Postal too. It's basically just like the dude's having a really bad day and you can just go around and let's put it this way. In Postal 2, I went to a place where there was a marching band. I proceeded to throw Molotov cocktails on most of the band. And the ones that didn't get burnt by the Molotov cocktails, I peed on, but I did something so I could pee fire. I then lit them on fire, waited until they were half dead, then beat some of them to death, I think with a shovel or something else, while my dog was savaging the shit out of them. And there was a bunch of wild animals stampeding around, setting themselves on fire randomly when I peed on them. That's Postal 2.
There you go. Now, you mentioned this with Quake. That's
Yeah, Quake is like what you call twitch and kill first-person shooters, and it's, in my opinion, the fucking king of them all.
I remember playing this with my cousin one time on a computer. Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Yep.
I remember doing that with him.
Oh, there's a bloke named Sid Meier, and there's Sid Meier's Civilization, Sid Meier's Golf, Sid Meier's fucking Theme Hospital. Sid Meier did a lot of those sorts of games. He was pretty fucking huge.
Okay, the last one I'm going to mention is called Worms.
Oh, fuck yeah. It's a turn-based strategy game, and you don't need to be good at games. You just need to think there's worms, there's a screen, and you take turns of blowing each other up with everything from grenades to baseball bats to Uzis to flamethrowers to dropping aircraft dropping bombs, the holy hand grenade, and everything in between. It's actually a game that you'd probably enjoy a lot just to laugh at. It's ridiculously funny.
Okay. Razor Girl wants to play with my worm.
Wow.
Yeah,
take it out of your triple balls.
Yeah, I've just been informed by management that the demonetization has just been demonetized.
It has.
Allegedly, boss. Remember, allegedly.
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 Probably. I blame Raisin.
I have no comment. Allegedly.
Allegedly. Well, I tell you what, that's pretty much the end of this 90s thing. But we got 15 minutes left, so we're gonna go to the chat room for Q&A and tip session. Tips and questions. If you want to tip, please do. If you don't, well, fuck you. And blame Raisin. What's up, everybody? Corky, how you doing, baby?
A lot of fun.
Landon's up in there with his old ass. Landon's pretty old. You know that?
Nah.
What's up, Honest Red?
See, Oculus asks, are we doing the naughties or not? It's like, no, I can't really remember much of the naughties because I was really, really high all the time, like pretty well constantly for the decade.
No, the 2000s.
In the year 2000.
Oh, fucking Conan.
We're going to be talking about the 2000s tomorrow, yeah. And then Thursday, we're going to make up for the 70s topic and talk about that. And then Friday, it's just, Fan Friday. I'm going to touch Marshall's young testicles.
Wow.
Stream?
Yeah.
Live on Chatterbait.
Live on the Chatterbait.
You better make some money for it. We can't be doing this for free.
Well, I've been touching young balls for free for a long time.
I don't know. I reckon give him $5 for his time. You know, and you know, he's young. He needs the experience. It's just that's worth a lot of money. Experience, apparently. That's what musicians are told all the time. It's like, you should come and play this gig. We're not paying you money. But it's great experience. I wish plumbers and electricians and motor mechanics worked for fucking experience. That'd be fucking awesome, wouldn't it?
It would be fucking awesome.
Hey, walk into the doctor. It's like, listen, doc, I need major heart surgery. I've got no money, but you know, I'm good experience.
Catch up on your skills.
You brush up on a fucking quadruple bypass. You haven't done one in how long?
Motherfuckers.
Hell yeah.
They're ridiculous people.
That's ridiculous.
Ridiculous. So, I'm about choke death. That's what's about to happen.
Yeah, lick the smash button. Wait, what?
Lick it.
Lick that smash button. Yes, I did steal that from fucking Fright Supremacy. I don't think they'd mind. All hail Blue Whale.
All tall blue balls.
So that's gonna have to see if we can. You need to get Ghastly and AP the Frog on here, because those two potentially could hijack your show, and the hilarity would ensue because you guys would throw mock shade at each other for 2 hours, and it'd be fucking great. Those guys trash talk like bosses.
I like it when it's fun trash talk. I do.
No, it wouldn't be serious. It'd be all like tongue in cheek. Like those guys are really good at it.
That's what I like. I like when you're shooting your shit with your boys and you're just throwing a little shade at each other. Yeah, I love that shit. That's like I do with you guys.
I fucking love Fright Supremacy. Just watching AP the Frog and Ghastly on their streams, they have their drunk streams, and shit just gets ridiculously funny.
Well, Lamorte needs to die. Landon said least favorite 90s band, which we kind of already talked about, and this other person said Pearl Jam. What the fuck is wrong with this person?
I think Paul doesn't like Pearl Jam. Well, no, I think he's indifferent on Pearl Jam, but Paul does not like Alice in Chains, and that fucking crushed my heart.
Wait. If you don't like the song "The Rooster,"
that's the exact song that he hates.
Really?
Yes, that's the exact one he complains about.
Really? I'm going to complain about the song that tells the story of a legendary fucking man that was in the fucking Vietnam War. Well done, Paul. Congratulations. You fucking idiot.
For person question, I said Billy A. Cyrus, but if we had to go with band, what the hell? Green Day. I appreciate them now, but for whatever reason, at the time in the 90s, I was so fed up and did not want to hear Green Day. I didn't think that they were music. I was just a music snob. And I'm like, they only use it sounds the same. I was ignoring the fact that the lyrics in a lot of it are really, really well done. But yeah, I was a music snob and I hated Green Day back in the 90s.
The Counting Crows.
Okay.
Oh, come on.
Fuck. What about this?
Favorite band, The Counting Crows.
Oh, fuck. There's a couple of them. There's a song. Was it Ugly Kid Joe? Hate Everything About You. I used to love the song, but then just one day I realized it's just like, I actually hate everything about this fucking song. It's so boring and
I think they did a real good job with the remake of Cats in the Cradle too.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not like nowhere near my favorites or anything. I mean, I wouldn't say my least favorite, but yeah. But somebody said Boys to Men were horrible. Are you fucking kidding me?
See, Philly girl had to like the Boys to Men. The Philly.
They were not horrible though. They were vocalists. They were amazing vocalists.
It's the time. Goodbye. I love that song, man. That was a staple back then.
But I guess if I just had to say the least favorite, it doesn't mean I even dislike them, but the least favorite would have to be the Counting Crows.
Mm.
Or Creed.
Okay, Creed is fair enough. That was played out.
Yeah. The arms wide open.
I again appreciate it now that I don't have to hear it on the radio every day, but then I'm with you.
Or Sugar Ray. Come, my lady, come, my lady. You're my butterfly, sugar, baby.
I like that video, though. It was a weird-ass video. I remember liking the video.
I remember the first time I heard the song, I was like, oh, really? This is where we've gotten. Come, my lady. You're my butterfly, sugar, baby. Come with me.
What was that song? There's a song called No Rain by, was it Blind Melon?
Yep, they only did one album because the lead singer died.
Yeah,
that song No Rain. Now it's a pop song.
Is my life is pretty plain.
But the B girl was big.
It's just a really, really fucking good song. It's like just like I'm talking from a guitarist perspective. I really just like how everything works in that fucking like everything just come together.
I got the drummer's mom taught me in high school.
Oh wow!
What?
Yep.
That's fucking cool.
Oh, that is fucking pretty cool.
Sure did. She was like she was like a substitute teacher chicken, but she was like a teacher for years. But I think she started, she came in and worked, substitute sometimes like they do after they retire. And yeah, she told us she was the mother of the drummer.
Mm.
I thought that it was pretty cool.
There's a lot of careers were cut short by, just early deaths. A lot of fucking very talented people unfortunately passed away, like there's Buckley and the guy from Blind Melon. There's just a massive fucking list of this. Imagine the music these people could have fucking produced over their lifetimes. It would have been pretty epic. So
now you got this song in my head though. All I can say is my life is pretty plain.
Yeah. It's just a really good song, it always if I'm feeling a bit pumped out.
Yeah, and Raisin's right. B Girl was fucking legendary, man.
Yeah.
We can all relate to that fucking the story being told in that song.
Yeah,
I think everyone can, so at some level.
Yeah, I believe we can. It's a very it's a story as old as night.
That's it.
Yeah, I mean even a boy band looking motherfucker like Marshall Manson can relate.
I don't think I'm boy band looking. I gotta be honest.
You're boy band looking. You look like you belong in NSYNC.
Wait, did I miss that? No, you're not.
He looks like he belongs in NSYNC.
No, he does not.
He does. He's Justin Timberlake's third cousin.
No, and there's a couple of bands too that their careers spanned a few decades, but one of them that had a pretty good decade was Killing Joke. I don't know if anyone in the chat listens to Killing Joke, but the album Pandemonium, pretty fucking awesome. I'm pretty sure that was the 90s, might have been the late 80s. I can't quite remember. I don't know if anyone remembers Killing Joke. They're a pretty epic band.
I can't think of anything about them.
Yeah, they're one of those bands that have sort of got that cult sort of following, and if you're into that genre of music, it's like, yeah.
Fish.
Oh, God, Fish, yeah.
Was that that was already in the 90s? God damn it.
Yeah. Fish show. I went to a fish show for show.
Fish show.
I almost brought up Vanilla Ice, but I'm pretty sure that he was 89, not 90.
It was 89, I do believe. But he was very prominent in the early 90s too. So
my personal little, I know Ramos was 90s, but that was another one. It was only big at the time if you were into her. Like she had a huge following that was loyal to her, but she wasn't as big as she became later.
Tori Amos was like that generation's Kate Bush.
Yeah. What was the chick that sang the song? I'm a bitch, I'm a child, I'm a...
What is her name?
That was that a lot? Alanis Morissette?
No.
But mention Alanis Morissette. She was big in the 90s, though. Alanis Morissette was huge in the 90s.
That's who that was.
She had a weird fucking voice, though.
I'm tired on my knees, wanna eat your pussy.
Well, and the demonetization of the demonetization has just been monetized.
Oh, this person did this, and now I gotta sing it. Come sail away, come sail away, come sail away with me.
Oh, God.
Enya, did you bring up Enya?
Yeah, that was I'm a girly one. That was in my collection. Still is.
Does she actually sing any actual words during that whole song solo, or is it just a bunch of random noises to music?
She sings in English for some of them, and she sings in Gaelic for some of them.
Oh, all right.
Gaelic.
I used to just hear it at nightclubs, and I was always drunk, and I used to just wander outside at that point.
It's just instrumental, though. She definitely does do instrumental only stuff.
I know it's the wrong. I know it's was it the song? I know, Adam. I would. Come on, bro. It was called a joke, Adam. It was a joke, Adam. God damn.
Oh, fucking hell, Landon. Really, you going to show off again? Look, here you go. I'm kidding, by the way. Landon just said, I visited her home studio. Who don't you fucking know, Landon?
Awesome. Landon is the Mandan.
Landon is a faggot.
I used to, Robin Williams used to come and chill and do a bit of stargazing. Oh, Brian May rung me up and said, can you come and take some photos of my gear while I'm on fucking tour?
But does he know Doug Jones?
I don't know. Does he? Probably fucking does. He knew Jerry Garcia.
He don't know who Doug Jones. Doug Jones, the dude, used to work this factory right down the road from me. I knew Doug.
You knew Doug?
I know Doug. You don't know Doug.
Doug's hard work, man. Been in that factory 35 years.
37. Thank you very much. And I ain't seeing no tips. I want to see some tips. Today is day tip day. Day tip day, whatever the fuck that meant. Probably Patreon day, but it ain't collected shit yet.
Yeah, about that, my payment might be a couple of days late. Oops. That's not funny, Red Eye, you fucking cunt.
I need them patrons.
Everyone, pony up, dollar Patreons, come into the Discord. You can harass me and abuse me and
or more.
Or more. Feel free to add more, but $1 gets you in there.
Yes. Yeah, do what Landon says. Tip for the sake of May. Because I'm trying to get to VidCon for the sake of June.
Yes, the VidCon.
Yes, the VidCon. And if I come up with the right amount, I may do a double trip on this one. I may stop in Texas, visit Luna for a day or two, and then go on to Cali. The Texas trip will be very, very cheap. The hotels are so nobody wants to stay there. So, yeah. But I'm not sure, but I am definitely want to go to VidCon. If I can work out the Texas thing, that'll be fine. But if not, I definitely want to go to VidCon. But, yeah. Anyways, tip. If you tip right now, Marshall will look into the camera.
Wow.
Yeah, see?
Don't tip, I won't do it.
Don't tip and he won't do it. I also don't know who I'm going to be joined by tomorrow. Probably Frank. Frank couldn't make it yesterday or today, but he can definitely make it tomorrow. So Frank will probably be here tomorrow, and we'll see who else I come up with. Next week, I'm going to try to get GDR on. She owes me one since I did her show the other night. She said she owes me one. So, and I had fun on her show, by the way.
You should get Confederate Gandalf on again.
Yeah.
Steve McGuire.
Fuck that dude, man. He's a piece of shit. No, look. Oh, you're going to laugh at this. That dude, Chairview, he's a nice guy. But he messages me and said, "You want to come on my show tonight? I've got Bionic Dance on. You want to come talk with her?" That's not a way to incite me, bro. That doesn't help. Trying to get me on your show, you want me to come with Bionic Dance? Really?
It's like
he obviously doesn't know my history. That I hate that cunt.
Yeah, here's the golden rule. It's like if you've appeared in a Sci 10 atheist cartoon and not flattering, it's the odds are I probably wouldn't want to be on a stream with that person. Just saying.
Dude, this is the only person who's went on Tosh.0 and didn't earn a fucking fan from it.
All right. Oh, I've just got a message in from the fucking producer. They said apparently Baked Alaska is having a fucking used iPad sale on eBay. Just sorry, I had to say it.
Yeah, I noticed that Landon mentioned he wants to come visit me in the vid. Yeah, if I get to go to the VidCon, Landon's going to come out and hang with me for a minute. So
what?
Yeah, he's done it every time I've been to VidCon. Every time I've been to VidCon, Landon has came out to see me in Anaheim. I've been twice. He took me to dinner both times. It was very nice dinners too. The first time was the first time was the very first time I met Landon in person. Well, he came out and I was that was like the first big trip I've took, you know, and everything. So it was a very cool experience. You know, took me to this nice restaurant. I ordered the only thing I could pronounce, which was steak.
You know what Landon should do? Landon should get all his interns and make them his entourage for the day, and he should pretend to be a very important Google person and just basically bullshit his way through the crowd. That'd be great fun. I'd do it.
Well, I think I'm going to bring, if Marshall's up for it. Marshall, you want to come back tomorrow?
Yeah, I think I'd be able to contribute nicely.
Yeah, I think, it's your generation. Yes, I think it'd be good for you. We'll have Frank on, and I'm going to give Raisin and Red Eye a break. They've joined me the last 2 days. And they're really old and they can't hang.
Yeah, I was really drunk in the noughties anyway. So like I spent most of my time in nightclubs playing in a band, taking lots of alcohol and maybe other substances. Maybe. Allegedly.
Yeah. Made Pimpmunk sniff a cork. Yes, that's right. Actually, I did sniff a cork the first time I met Landon.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll bring Alexis on. Come on.
Cool.
She's got to have a good camera, though. Oh, I hope y'all heard that fart. It was long.
I couldn't hear it.
It was long. Yeah, I'll bring Alexis on tomorrow. It's fine. And we'll have Marshall, and I'll see if Admiral Murphy wants to come on as well. He's young in that generation, so yeah.
Cool,
and Murphy's got an amazing voice, by the way. He has a great talking voice.
He does. Yeah.
He does. Oh, by the way, I'm starting to love myself even more, if you believe it or not.
Good.
Because all the guys, they always want to make fun of the voice, right? The first thing GDR talks about is how Pimp's got the sexiest voice. And I'm like, yeah, you fucking dudes. Make fun of my voice. Keep on making fun of my voice. All the pussies are wet. Oh, I didn't make you hard? Okay.
Admiral Murphy says I'll get you all wet with my voice.
But I met some really cool people on that show tonight. I've actually met a real doctor. He's a fucking medical doctor. I want to get his name from GDR because I would love to bring him on the show. Because he was a very cool guy, very, very, and one thing I really liked about he's a medical doctor. And I believe I found somebody who can smoke as much as I do during a live stream.
Wow.
He was lighting cigarette. He was matching me cigarette for cigarette.
Legend.
So, I blame you because I smoked more when I was around you too.
Everybody says that. And I can see that. But you know what's crazy is I smoke more when I'm around everybody too. Like when I'm live, I smoke more. When I'm just sitting around here, I don't smoke as much as I do. But when I'm talking, and it's like it's kind of like how Dean Martin had his drink, right? And so Ron White's got his drink. I think a cigarette kind of keeps me balanced.
Like a nervous habit sort of thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like a nervous.
Yeah, something.
Yeah. So I imagine, you know, even like when I do stand up or something, I may not be lit, but I'll have a cigarette in my hand. But yeah, I'm hoping to get to go to VidCon. We'll talk about this a few more minutes. I may not even go to the actual event because who gives a fuck about the actual event, right? It's all about getting there and networking and stuff like that. So I'm going to be going to parties, hanging out with some cool people, you know, Billy and Ben and other people, getting to hang out with Landon some. And there's a lot of people that live out in LA that I've met before that said, you know, they want to come out and visit and hang out with me. So that's a good chance to meet some people in California too. So, and maybe I'll get to stop by Texas and visit Luna.
Oh, you'll be in LA. You can stop by Baked Alaska's place for a cheap iPad.
I thought about doing. I actually thought about. I thought about if I can afford it. Because I usually stay a day after VidCon, right, to kind of relax. I thought about going out to LA and staying for a day in LA because Anaheim's like technically it's 35 minutes from LA, but with traffic and there's always traffic in LA, it's like an hour. LA traffic is the craziest shit you've ever seen in your fucking life, dog.
Yeah, I've heard that it's quite legendary.
Oh man, it's crazy. It is fucking crazy. I love that area though. I love California. It's I remember the first time when everybody was about the heat, and I'm like, you pussies, because it is hot out there, but they don't have humidity. They don't have the humidity like it is, and you know, anybody who lives in the South, I know Raisin's lived in the South, so she knows what I'm talking about. The humidity hot is way hotter than what it is out in California.
It's suffocating. It's stifling.
Yeah, I mean, you could literally take a shower, go outside in the humidity, and you feel like you need one immediately. It's crazy. California loves Pimpmunk. I think they do. I'm ready to get out on the road too. It's been a minute since I've traveled, and I'm ready to get back out there and do some cool stuff. And so I'm excited. And I want to thank everybody. We had a pretty decent crowd come in today. It's kind of keeping, you know, with the flow of the you know, original crowd of the show. So I like that. Even though we're on the other channel, I do have someone working on getting my channel back though. The Trusted Flagger is trying to work on it. He messaged me last night. If anybody can do it, he can. So if it don't, but we're going to keep doing this, keep promoting it. I've been making little promo videos every day before the show on my main channel and then everything. And that helped. I think that does actually help. So we're going to keep the Morning Wood going because I enjoy the Morning Wood. I think it's a fun show. It isn't, you know, like today we did get a little serious for a moment there, but sometimes we get serious. But for the most part, it's something where people can go and just have fun. There's no like big rules. I mean, I let Red Eye talk, so you know I ain't got much fucking rules.
Yeah, that's right. And we're going to keep lobbying to give all kids M1A Abrams so they're safe.
And I'm working on this OBS thing. I'm getting it a little bit better. Once I get the OBS thing going, then we're gonna have some. I'm introducing some segments to the show. It's not gonna be every day. It's not gonna be the same segment every day because that'll get old real quick. But once a week, we're gonna have maybe have a Red Eye rant or some shit like that, and let Red Eye. I'm gonna see if I can get him to rant under 5 minutes.
Good luck. I'll rant about the fucking time limit. There you go.
Yeah.
Fucking bullshit 5 minutes.
Red Eye's autistic as fuck, by the way. Yeah. So when he gets started, I think I'm just gonna spit take from Race. When Red Eye gets started, he don't know when to shut the fuck up. And so sometimes you have to say, "Hey, Red, shut the fuck up."
That makes me
That is
angry.
A passionate fellow. He has passion. What do you want from him?
I love him. He knows I love him. He knows I love him.
I run on puritanism.
Red's been a you know, a good friend of mine, a good supporter of mine. And you know, he's one of my boys, so I don't mind telling him to shut the fuck up. if I actually minded telling him to shut the fuck up, I probably would never tell him to shut the fuck up. Because I wouldn't give a fuck enough about them. And that's the way I am. If I don't really care, you'll see that I don't care. But anyways, My controller just went nuts. Okay, duck and cover works for schools. Oh man, I really did miss. Yeah, you missed it, Alicia. You stupid motherfucker. What's wrong with you? I love Alicia. Alicia's awesome. Not only is she pretty, she's pretty.
Oh.
Yeah. Now she's actually a very sweet person too. Unlike Raisin Girl. Raisin's a mean bitch.
I'm a dickhead. Wow. I wish this a long time ago.
Yeah, she's a dickhead. She's my dickhead though.
Fair enough.
She's on the head of my dick.
Wow. Demonetized again.
Are you petting your dick with a shriveled raisin?
And I like Raisin's brother. Raisin has a neck beard for a brother.
A neck beard SJW for a brother.
Yeah, that's so weird. She's like, I said, he's a neck beard. She said, yeah, but he goes on fucking Tumblr. I'm like, what?
Oh, that's right.
You know, even we've had arguments in the household because my mom mentioned the religion of his friend, and he started squealing about how you can't talk about somebody else's religion because it's wrong and it's hateful, and she's a bigot. I was like, oh my.
Oh. Yeah. Don't come and see me at the GDC then.
Well, I got no tips. I got no tips today.
What
Worthless bastard.
Fuck?
No. I got tips yesterday, but fucking Corky tipped late yesterday.
I'm going to send radioactive wombats around to everybody's fucking houses, and they're going to shit in your shoes just because you're fucking all tight asses.
I only had a small stream go, $5,000.
We wanted $50 trillion. That wasn't much to ask. It's like
5,000, Red. Just 5,000.
50 trillion. 50 trillion. Yeah,
50
that's what
trillion.
I said.
That's a good number. But I do hope to get to VidCon, so you guys need to help out, motherfuckers. And also, what else was I gonna say? I don't know.
Oh no! Someone said moist in the chat. Thank fuck Shara's not here. She loses her shit, man. She gets sick. Oh.
Okay, but yeah, she does not like moist for some reason.
No.
Moist is a good word too. But tomorrow, we're gonna discuss the year 2000s.
Year 2000.
From 2000 to 2010. Past 2010 really don't make a fuck because we haven't finished that decade yet. So, but we're gonna talk about that tomorrow. I'm gonna be joined by Marshall, probably Frank, Lexus, and Admiral Murphy, aka the Pudgy Lesbian. So we'll have a pretty good little cast of young folks there. I'll be the only old fucker there on that one. I might need to bring an older fucker on to kind of even it out with me, help me out a little bit.
Marshall weathered today. If Marshall weathered today, you can be on with the young ones tomorrow.
Hey, I can bring me on, Pimp. We can talk about healthcare.
We did mention, we glossed over boy bands, Alicia. There were some boy bands in the 2000s too, so yeah. I am an elder. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Thank you guys for joining me. We'll see you guys later. I may do a show tonight at some point too, so I'm not sure. Bye.
Peace.